Listen-only mode.
Thank you for joining the Access July education webinar series titled Mitigate Risk and Be Compliant, a Shred All program. We're going to give everyone an additional 2 minutes as they enter the meeting, and we will start in approximately 2 more minutes. Thank you. Okay, let's get started. It is 11:02 in the west and 2:02 in the east. So wanted to welcome everyone again to the July session of the Access Education Webinar Series. I'm Ray Berry. I'm the Access Vice President of Sales.
I'm sorry.
For the Eastern region. And
somebody was not muted.
And again, I'm sorry, Pat, you there?
Yes, there was an echo. I think it's gone now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hear. I did hear it as soon as we began, but all right, you guys can have the last 30 seconds of your life back. We'll get started here. Welcome again to the July Education Webinar Series. Today's session is titled Mitigate Risk and Be Compliant. And as those of you that have been joining our monthly webinar series know that we've been hosting these jointly with Kaizen InfoSource, so we're happy to have them on board, and I'll introduce Pilar here in a second. But first, a couple things to get us started. You know, with these webinar series, we strive to address relevant topics to help you in your day-to-day business. So it's not so much about us, but more about what our clients and our prospects face on a daily basis and how we can be relevant with these topics. We also plan these to be short in duration and laser focused. We would like to not have it go past 30 minutes, so we try to keep it 30 minutes or less. So as you see, we'll be moving pretty quickly as we go through the slides. You'll definitely have a chance for question and answer at the end, and also a way to get in touch with each one of us as well. Also, video of this presentation will be available tomorrow on both the Access and Kaizen websites, so be looking for that. And it's very important for us to look at our surveys after each webinar. It really helps us deliver the next one better and better. So we really strive to make these better and better every month. So the feedback for improvement is vital to us. So if every one of you could participate in the post-call survey, that would be great. And one other thing that you don't see up on the screen is that may help you as you go through this is just to make sure that that you maximize or adjust your screen so you can see the full screen of the PowerPoint as well as we go through it. So at this point, it is my pleasure to introduce Pilar McAdam with Kaizen InfoSource. And Pilar, I will turn it over to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, depending upon where you are. My name is Pilar McAdam. I work with Kaizen InfoSource, a records and information management consulting company that is committed to making you and your information governance program successful. I've spent more than 30 years working in a wide variety of business support processes. My particular interest has always been the creation, use, and maintenance of information, and my passion has been making that information more useful and accessible to those who need it. Today's topic is going to focus on the risks of not properly disposing of documents and other sources of physical information. We're going to talk about where the particular danger zones are, what needs to be protected, who might either misuse or abuse that information, what the specific risks are, what your options are for safe disposal, how to test and make sure that people are doing the right thing, establishing your program, including key considerations, and how access can help you. The most potential problems are going to come up where you have the highest volumes of documents being created. So by fax machines, in copy rooms or near photocopiers, any trash receptacle, and don't forget those large-scale cleanup projects that may be going on, whether it's a cleanup day that you're having or there's some kind of, say, move preparation and you're cleaning out a whole bank of file cabinets. Any of those are going to be of particular interest when you're looking at discarded documents. Information about individuals, that's personally identifiable information, or PII, is of particular concern. That is information including things like social security numbers, birth dates, home addresses, phone numbers, and specific account numbers. This kind of information may appear on, say, tax forms that may be coming into your personnel department or going out of your accounting department. If you work in a law firm, depositions contain this kind of information. It's also in resumes that may be coming in and out of your organization. Specific information about organizations. Proprietary information needs to be protected. That can include things like trade secrets, designs or products that are in development, intellectual property such as patents, or business plans for an organization such as mergers, acquisitions, or plans for divestitures. Insider information is information that can be used illegally for people to profit from the buying or selling of stocks. That includes things like mergers and acquisitions. That needs to be protected, as well as does U.S. government information that's subject to security requirements, or anything that may be embarrassing. And that could be embarrassing to an employee, to your organization, or to one of your clients. All of this information requires protection. Remember that anyone in an area who can see what's in a trash receptacle has the potential for sharing that information, whether deliberately or by accident. That can include your employees, contractors who may be in the area doing work, visitors who are there for meetings, as well as, if you do not work in a secured area, there may be people who work nearby who come through your area. There may be strangers stumbling through, and there may be people who are deliberately there trying to find information that they can use. It might be the media. It may be people who are informants for the media. And then we, of course, cannot forget people who are there deliberately to do things that are criminal or just trying to hurt you in some other way. The risks are identity theft. That's particularly true for the personally identifiable information. That's why it's so important. Information proprietary or insider information that may get out, or even information that's embarrassing, can result in the loss of income or profits for your organization or for your clients. If information got out illegally, there may be criminal charges filed. There may be lawsuits brought by people who or organizations who were harmed by the information that got out. You may lose clients. You may lose employees. And you may suffer embarrassment. And that embarrassment may be small scale, just locally, or it could be quite public. There are additional risks because things are open. People can see into them. Remember that when trash is disposed of in dumpsters that are in public areas, and that's like alleys or parking lots or on the curb, the contents are no longer private property. Also, there are now software programs that can reconstruct a document from a photograph of the linear shreds of paper. So, wow, nothing's safe. So what do? The goal is to eradicate the informational content of a document so that it cannot be reconstructed. For small quantities, you can use cross-cut shredders, or you can burn the stuff. Anything other than those very small quantities really should be disposed of in locked shred bins or consoles where the full chain of custody is secure. And by chain of custody, I mean that there is a defined process with controls established at every stage or handoff from the moment that document is put into the receptacle until it is actually destroyed. Okay, you've set up your program, you've got your shred bins. You've trained your employees. How do you know that they're doing the right thing? You have to look. There's no way around this. You need to check frequently when you first rolled out your program, and then as you get more confident that people are doing the right thing, you can scale back on that. By checking, by dumpster diving, what I mean is actually going into those bins that are in your danger zones, look through the contents, see if there's something there that should not be there. If it is there, document what you find, do your best to identify the source, and then use it as an opportunity to educate them. 9 times out of 10, when people discard something that they should not have put into an open receptacle, it's because either they were not even thinking about it, or they honestly didn't know what the right thing was to do.
Pilar, I think you accidentally put yourself on mute. Pilar, if you can hear me, you probably have yourself on mute because no one can hear you at this point. I apologize, everyone. It looks like we're having technical difficulties. Ray, maybe you can jump back on, and I will
I'm here, Pat. If you want to bring up your screen on this slide,
Sure.
so you can control the slides. I can take over.
Sure. Let me locate the slide that Pilar's on. Can everyone see my screen? I'm hoping everyone can. Can you see my screen, Ray?
I've got it. All right, those of you that were going to listen to the recording of this over and over again will, of course, edit it out, the technical difficulties. Right, Pat?
We will try.
All right, hey, we're still going to get this done in 30 minutes or less. That's our challenge. All right, when you're establishing your program, obviously, I don't know if Pilar can hear us, but she did a great job explaining why you need to have the right measures in place to protect your sensitive information. Now let's talk a little bit about establishing your program. One thing that I have seen in the industry, and I've been in the industry for a little bit over 15 years, and mostly on the shredding side, and a lot of the breaches that you see sometimes are when organizations leave it up to their employees to decide what's sensitive and what's not. And when that happens, the risk factor goes up. So you definitely don't want to leave it subjective to your employees, because employee over here, employee number one may think something's sensitive, and employee number two may not think it's sensitive, and then they may put it in the non-secure bin. So you want to make sure that you make it an easy decision for them. By establishing your Shred All program today, you'll gain the peace of mind knowing that you've done all you can to mitigate risk and be compliant, and with all of the different fines that are being levied, whether it be HIPAA violations, red flags rule, or state shredding laws, we have seen that the companies and organizations that have the right precautionary measures in place, they've trained their employees, those are the ones, if there ever is any breach or negligence, the fines are definitely reduced and mitigated. Next slide, Pat. All right, key considerations. Now, Pilar did a great job of explaining to you why we need to have all the right steps in place to protect your sensitive information. We talked about having a Shred All program where you don't leave it subjective to your employees. Now it's time to figure out, how do I know what type of partner to use when it comes to implementing a Shred All program? Well, unfortunately for the shredding industry, we're not regulated by the government to do things certain ways. So unfortunately, someone could go to an Office Depot, buy an office shredder, and say they're in the shredding business. Well, thank goodness we've got the National Association for Information Destruction, NAID, which I've personally been very active in, and Access from day one has been very active in NAID as well. You want to make sure whichever partner you choose is in good standing with NAID, has never been brought up on any kind of ethical violations with NAID. So NAID membership, active membership in good standing is vital. I would raise it a little bit too to make sure that whoever you choose has achieved NAID certification, which means that they're subjected to an audit any day of the week, could happen multiple times through the year, and a lot of those audits are unannounced. So a lot of times we don't know at Access when we're going to be audited. So we've got to be on our A game 365 days a year. So that's important too when you think of key items to consider when selecting the right destruction partner. Next slide, Pat. All right, now how can Access help you? Obviously, we're a good standing member of NAID. We're very active in NAID. The majority of our locations are NAID certified, and with the help of Cheryl Pearson, who's our Director of Compliance, all of our locations will be certified shortly. But we offer a multiple of different options for you where we can customize a shred all program for you. We'll come in and really do an analysis of how many bins and consoles you may need. Pilar was talking about maybe conducting a dumpster diving study. We'll actually do that for you. We can come in and do what I call a security audit, information security audit. We'll come in and go through your office and make sure that no sensitive information is at risk. Having a information destruction program is a requirement of FACTA, HIPAA, all the different state shredding laws there's a new one every day usually, and just really sound business practices. One thing that's not on this slide that we can help you with as well is employee training is also a requirement of the different regulations, and we have the capabilities to help either add to your existing employee training program through our NAID membership, and a tool that's available to NAID members, and we can do that, or we can be the cornerstone of your training program for your employees when it comes to proper document disposal habits. Next slide, Pat. When we come in and talk to our clients, our existing clients that we may be providing hard copy storage for, or imaging services, or maybe just purge services, when we come in and talk about a routine shred all program, we totally customize it based on the number of paper producing employees that you have. And we try to make it as cost effective as possible. We actually suggest that you start with a little bit less number of bins and consoles than what you may need, just to gauge the volume a little bit, just to make sure that that they are adopting this type of service as their new way of protecting sensitive information. One thing that I think Pilar was talking about was, if you have small amount of material that needs to be destroyed. One thing I wanted to share with everyone here is kind of what a good formula that I've used over the past 15 years in the industry is that if you have 5 or more paper producing employees, you have enough material being generated on a monthly basis that would require a executive console picked up every month. That's the formula that we have used in the industry, and if you see here on the slide, you see the big 96-gallon rolling bins. Usually 15 or more paper-producing employees will fill one of those up every month. So, that may help you look at, say, do we have the sufficient enough volume for a console, a bin, or multiple consoles and bins? If you've got more than that and you don't have anything, chances are there could be a risk factor there. Also, as far as cross-cut shredding, most of them are all the equipment that we have at Access definitely produces a cross-cut result. But the most important thing, I think, is even if it's strip shredding compared to cross-cut shredding, I think the most important thing with utilizing a partner like Access is that our material is commingled with hundreds of your material. If we destroy it, is commingled with hundreds of other clients' material. So it is totally impossible to reassemble that material because it's commingled. Some of the identity theft risk that you see out there, even with clients that do shred their own material, is it's not commingled with hundreds of other clients. It's just their material, and that's why reassembling that material is so easy for an identity thief. Next slide, Pat. Other things we can help you with establishing your shred all program. We obviously make sure that you have plenty of labels and for the consoles and bins, so everyone in your all of your employees, everyone in your organization knows exactly what they need to do with the sensitive material. We make it the path of least resistance. Let's put it that way. So that's part of our customization of this program, is we're going to make sure that we go to the high volume areas. We're going to make sure that everyone in your office knows exactly where to go with the sensitive information. Next slide, Pat. If you need more detail as far how we can help establish a shred-all program for you, if we happen to be doing hard copy storage with you, or scanning, or really anything, or if we're not doing anything for you yet, but this is something that you feel like maybe there's a little bit more risk than you would like right now, we would be happy to talk to you more about it, and I'll have my contact information at the end here as well. Next slide, Pat. So here's some phone numbers and obviously our website. And if you want to look at some other information resources regarding mitigating risk and different legislation for HIPAA, FACTA, red flags rule, and this maybe to see if your state has a state shredding law, you can visit our website. Next slide. Our next education series workshop is going to be Thursday, August 22nd, same time, 11 a.m. Pacific. That's 2 o'clock for us East Coasters. And the topic will be Records and Information Management, a focus on the legal community. So hopefully all of you can join us for that, and tell your friends and coworkers. Next slide, Pat. As we said at the beginning of this webinar, our post-call surveys are very important to us. I'm going to guess that technical difficulties may be part of the survey, and that we'll be prepared for that, of course. Tell us the good news and the bad news, like technical difficulties. But that's very important to us. We really strive to make these better and better, and really more relevant for our clients. We don't really want to do the same topic twice, you know. So we want to make sure that we're covering a full array of different issues. So your answers and comments will be very important to helping us grow this webinar series. Next slide, Pat. All right, now's the portion of the show where we open it up for any questions on the material that Pilar has gone over, and also that I went over. Pat, are there any questions that have come through so far?
I do. 1 second. Let me pull it up. Okay, a question here. If you subcontract your trash pickup to a janitorial service, how might that affect the risks you talk about? This might be a Pilar question.
Yep, I'm here, and sorry for the technical difficulties on my end. That's a really good question, and the answer is that when you subcontract, it does not affect your risk at all. If something gets out as a result of a document being exposed, it really doesn't matter whether you've subcontracted that or not. If a law was broken, they're going to come after you. If it presented some other kind of liability and there's a lawsuit brought, they're going to sue you. So don't think that outsourcing kind of fixes this for you. It doesn't. You're still liable. And I would advise, if you do outsource to a janitorial service, make sure you understand how they protect the documents that they get rid of as well.
There was another question about what about discarding other types of e-waste, such as hard drives, backup drives, magnetic tapes, etc.?
Yeah, I can take that one, Pat, if you'd like. Yeah, as far as that goes, we've talked a lot about paper, but e-waste is you can have the same amount, if not more, of a breach of security with e-waste as you can have with the hard copy paper that you dispose of on a daily basis. So a full shred-all program is definitely going to have an e-waste component to it as well. And that's part of what we can help with too, is we definitely have the capabilities to provide hard drive destruction, e-waste destruction, and in some markets where we may not have that capability, we have a partner network that we utilize, again, NAGE certified companies that serve as our partner in that market to help with e-destruction.
Are there any other questions? I don't see any other questions, Ray.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone. Again, Pilar, thank you very much. Great job. I think the information was very relevant to what everyone on the call is looking at on a daily basis. And again, we see an identity theft story on the news every single night in really any town USA. So very relevant, and we appreciate the information you shared with everyone today.
Well, thank you, Ray, and anyone who's on the line who has any questions, please reach out to us.
Thank you, Pilar. Thank you, Pat. And again, thanks to all of you that attended the webinar. We appreciate it, and we look forward to doing it again on August 22nd. Thank you very much. Have a great day.